For now, though, he's had a great result. And we're now on to our next match, and this is a clash of someone who's very much on the rise. He's been around a while, but over the last year or two, he seems to have just stepped up to another level. Mario He in action against Oliver Ortmann, someone who is an absolute legend of the game, and great to see him out here at the age of 56.
Yeah, this is a match I'm looking forward to. Never had the pleasure of commentating on an Oliver Ortmann match, simply because he's not really been playing in the big pool tournaments over the last few years. Know him very well, played him a lot back in the day. Really nice guy as well.
Just as we get into this one, a couple of results to bring you up to date on since the previous match finished. Mark Bijsterbosch, who went so close, as close as you can get really, to winning the Spanish Open a few weeks ago, has come through 9-2 against Ingo Lamberti of Germany. And Tyler Steyer has also had a pretty straightforward win, 9-0 against Britain's Danny King.
Yeah, as you were talking about the Mosconi Cup rankings and the placings there, Michael, of course, Eklund Kaci is not here. He's had some form of off-road car accident. He's injured his playing arm, so he's out of action for, well, a good few weeks, maybe a few months. So it's going to be interesting to see at what point he can get back into the ranking events to try and qualify, if even possible at all.
Well, he had become a bit of a Mosconi regular. Missed out in the team last year, and it looked for all the world, given the form he's been in, that he was heading back into the team. And as you say, those events of recent days may end up costing him. The main thing is, at least he's safe and reasonably well, and we hope to see him back soon.
That's all he could really do there. He was trying to use the purple 5 and the red 3 ball as a blocker. Felt he couldn't really get the cue ball close to the 2 balls, which is always going to leave the jump shot. The jump shot pot is something that's vanished since we've gone down to 4-inch pockets. Yeah, it's just not as easy to get the ball into the centre pocket anymore. So you don't actually see many jump shots where they're actually potting the ball when it's near the pocket. Yeah, they may make the ball then, but that type of shot there from Mario, not easy, and he actually got very close.
Second match of the day for both of these players. Ortmann is a 9-2 winner against his compatriot Daniel Sturz in the 10 AM session. Whoever wins this, that will be their last involvement today, and we'll see them again in winners' qualification tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got the likes of Oliver Ortmann, Ralph Suke, Mika Immonen, you know, these players who have won world titles years and years ago. I wonder if any of these sort of elder players could win one of these majors in the modern era. Because we talk about the Fillers and the Gorst and the Sanchez, you know, the younger players, but what do you feel like the age sort of bracket would be?
What, the cut-off point?
Yeah, I've been trying to think about this the last few months, because obviously, if you look at snooker, the fact that Stephen Henry retired quite young, obviously Ronnie's late 40s, 47, 48, is he, Ronnie O'Sullivan?
Yeah, he's 47.
And he's still mixing it, of course he is.
Well, he was world champion last year.
Yeah, so snooker seems to have gone that little bit more where you can cut it as you get a little bit older. I was trying to think, what is the age of pool? Because these can still play, you know, Ralph can still play, Niels can still play. He's had a bit of a decent run in some of the events this season, but they're not winning the events, are they?
I think Niels could win an event. As someone like Ralph, he's continued to play, and it's not like he's been getting close to winning anything, so maybe his time has passed. But it'll change over time, you see, because you talk about snooker there, and you weren't seeing players in their 40s winning tournaments not that long ago. Now it's become very much par for the course because that strong generation is still there, and the next wave of players haven't been as good as them. And I think maybe the reason that the top pool players from 20, 25 years ago aren't still winning tournaments is because a whole new wave of younger players has come through, particularly a lot of young European players who've basically just gone past them. But you look at someone like Shane Van Bonen, and obviously he could still win a tournament. He's only just turned 40. It would be no surprise at all. Equally so, it would be no surprise 10 years from now to see him still able to win tournaments. So if there is an upper age limit, I think it changes over time, and it depends on the quality of the players in each age group. But what we do know is that 56-year-old Oliver Ortmann has won the opener here against Mario He. Ortmann was world champion in 1995, beat Dallas West 11-9 to become the first of 4 German winners to date. Been playing since the age of 6. His parents ran a restaurant, and there was a pool table in the basement, and to amuse himself while they were working, he went down there and played, and well, here he is half a century later. Now, in the first round, Sullivan Clark is on the hill at 8-2 against Yannick Pucha. The winner of that, it looks like being Sullivan Clark, will play Stuart Bingham in the next round.
Is he going to get a look at this one ball? He isn't. So it's going to be a push out. Another prime example where I'm sure you've heard myself talk about the break rule. This is why it was changed, because things are not as guaranteed. Here you see another look. No shot on the 1. The red 3 balls tied up with a 9. So if you're wondering why that is important for the games, because we get to see a bit more creativity, a bit more safety play. So that's going to bring the skill out. I think Mario will play this shot. I don't think he can see the 1 ball full. Oliver would not have played that push out, because that would be easy for Mario just to stun the cue ball in behind the purple 5. But he might try and play the 1 off 2 rails and kill the cue ball onto the top rail. Try and get the 1 back down the bottom. Doesn't have to play the shot, of course. He can simply put Oliver back to the table. That's what the push out is about, but he is playing it. He can also play thin off the edge. Could even pot it, you know, in the top right pocket. That's not easy though. Well, he has put him back. Oliver will have had a plan in his mind when he played the push out. And he simply has the same options Mario did. He's actually looking at that first shot I suggested, trying to get this 1 ball on the bottom rail, draw the cue ball or a little sort of stun shot off the left rail near that top corner pocket and kill the cue ball on the top rail. The beauty of this is he knows the red 3 ball is a problem ball at some point in the rack. It was actually a very obvious basic shot. I was a little surprised Mario didn't play the shot, if I'm being honest. I could understand not playing the shot if the 3 ball was, let's say, over another pocket and all the balls are in the open, but the fact that that is a dead ball, that was a surprising one for me. Just looking around the tables near us, Michael. there's a lot of legends out there. Ralph Souquet's in action as well, another world 9-ball champion. David Al-Qaedi's out there playing. Victor Zielinski's on table number 2.
Yeah, he's actually lost the opener against Kristina Zloteva. Talking about age and the fact that Ortmann is 56. Mario He, who's coming to the table now with this chance, has only recently turned 30. Just last Thursday, in fact.
Yeah, hard to believe Mario He has not played in the Mosconi Cup as well. That just shows you how difficult it is to get in that team. Only 5 players represent Europe every December.
Yeah, he did make it into the team 5 years ago, but had to withdraw for personal reasons. So he still hasn't played. He's currently in 5th place in the European Mosconi Cup standings. He's only about $10,000 outside the top 3, so he's got every chance of qualifying this time. And of course, even if you don't make it into the top 3, if you finish 5th or particularly 4th, you put forward a strong argument for yourself to be a captain's pick, so every chance he could be in the side for the first time this year.
Yeah, also I think the beauty of the qualification now is, a few years ago, you know, I remember qualifying one year where it was the top ranked player on the Euro Tour, so just one player got in. Now Mario can pick and choose to go to a lot of events, not just, you know, the big open events that we stage. You can go to some of the lesser events. There's a lot of pool tournaments now, so if he's, like you said, 10,000 down, maybe you could go to an event in Europe that pays 4,000 or 5,000 to the winner. So it's going to be interesting to see what the players pick and choose to play in. Missed that one though. Cue ball's close to left centre and he's scratched, so this is going to be over this rack because he's going to pot the 9-ball with the 3.
So, the legend of the game, the senior man in this encounter, Oliver Ortmann, is off to a very positive start here. He leads Mario He 2-0. Could be a big story in the offing here. There was a very big story a short time ago when the former world snooker champion Stuart Bingham beat Lo Ho Sum on his 9-ball pool debut, and afterwards, Carl spoke to him.
Stuart, congratulations, your first ever match on the World 9-Ball Tour. How was it?
Yeah, obviously a bit nerve-wracking. I think the first couple of frames or racks helped me really, because it was just sort of playing a bit of nip and tuck, a bit of safety, and obviously the snooker safety sort of gave me a good sort of head start, I think. Yeah, missed maybe 1 or 2 shots that were pretty easy, but other than that, I think yeah, it's pretty good.
Overall, it looked like, you know, when a snooker player comes to play 9-ball, we've seen like Lazowski, Gary Wilson in the early days struggle a bit. For the first ever match, you probably look like the best snooker player who's gone straight out and played. Is that how it felt?
Yeah, like I say, I've been watching it for what, nearly 30 years, I suppose. Just sort of watching it, and even say coming to the Copper Box, the UK Open, just watched it firsthand. Yeah, I think it gave me a sort of maybe an edge on maybe the other players. I suppose I've got that maybe that game to sort of move the white around the table, a bit of side here and there. So that's what I've sort of seen and learned over the years, maybe watching it.
And how was the break shot? Because the break's a lot different now. Within the last 12 months, it's been changed to try and make it a little bit more difficult. How have you found the break?
Yeah, it's like you say, it's everything. I think the way the ball's spread. I sort of made my fair share of obviously the 1-ball. Yeah, it's obviously tough. You've got to really concentrate on trying to hit the yellow or the 1, where you're trying to hit it, and hopefully something goes in.
You've just beat Lo Ho Sum. He's a steady player. He's had a few decent results on the tour. Now you've played that match, how far do you think you could go?
Who knows? Obviously I enjoyed every second of it out there. If I can keep enjoying it, like you say, who knows? Sort of talking to sort of people like Tony Drago, sort of Dave Lilly, sort of obviously the other snooker players, they sort of said that should sort of do okay, and obviously beating a good scalp in that guy, it was it's only going to give me confidence.
Right, okay, Stu, thanks for stopping by. Good looking round.
New Zealand is a country which has always been very special to Stuart Bingham, because that was where he won the World Amateur Snooker Championship in 1996. And that's where his next opponent will come from, because Sullivan Clark has clinched a meeting with him by seeing it out at 9-2 against Yannick Pucha. Back here, Oliver Ortmann, 2-0 up.
Lost the cue ball a little bit. You could see it come off the pack and went low. Here's another look. Just watch the angle of the cue ball come off. See how it went down. It actually had some of the opposite spin on as well. So it's going to be another push out. It's a great side of the game, the push out. I really do like this, because Oliver can literally do what he wants with the cue ball. So there you see he's rolling it up top. He'll make sure it comes away from the 8 ball so you can see a piece of the yellow 1 ball. And it's as simple as this. Mario can play this shot or give it back. He decided to give the last one back in the previous rack. So this will be interesting to see if he plays this one now. There's not much option for him on this shot. If he takes it, maybe it's still trying to use that 8 ball as a blocker, but it's never easy to get a full ball hook just using 1 ball.
Quiz time for you, Carl. Which players have played in more Mosconi Cups for Europe than Oliver Ortmann?
Can I get one small clue? How many players?
No, that's part of the question. I knew you'd ask me that. It's not many, obviously.
Well, it's definitely Ralph Souquet. I'm going to say Mika Inu.
Yes.
I'm going to say one more player. Would that be right?
That would not be right. It wouldn't be far off. Come on, I'm helping you here.
Niels Feijen.
Yes.
So there's one more.
There is one more, yeah.
I'll give it some thought.
Meanwhile, Mario He back at the table with a good chance here to open his account. I mentioned earlier, Ortmann was a 9-2 winner in his first match against Daniel Sturz earlier today. Mario He got through with even less difficulty, didn't lose a single rack against the British player Lawrence Thomason.
I should know the answer to this question, but...
Well, it should be you, shouldn't it? If you
No,
played on a bit
definitely,
longer,
yeah.
you could have been up there.
Yeah, I'd have been double figures, but never mind. You're going to tell me how many he's played in? Is that a clue?
I don't think that would help you very much.
Well, go on, tell me, it might.
I don't actually know.
All right, that's my question to you then. If you give me how many he's played in, I might get it right.
Yeah. I think it's 9. Well, let me check that.
It looks like he's going forward with the cue ball. Yeah, this is a nice shot. A little bit of an exhibition shot. Look at the cue ball spinning away. This is an important rack for Mario. Don't want to start trailing 3-0 to anybody, especially Ortmann.
So Mario He, somewhat belatedly, off and running. And that's 2-1. Okay, so Ralph Suke played 17, Mika Immonen 15, Niels Fine 14. They're the 3 you've already got. And I'm actually a little bit surprised, as I said, I knew who the other one was who's played more than Ortmann, but this other player has played 11, which actually surprises me a bit that it's quite as many as that. So that might even throw you off the scent a bit. You've got to the end of the next rack.
How many's Ortmann played in?
8.
Well, Appleton played in 8 or 9.
Yeah, Appleton at 8 as well,
Right.
I think. Yeah.
Well, the only player I can think of is Vandenberg, but...
I think he's on 8 as well.
Right, so it's not Vandenberg.
Yeah.
Surely it's not Steve Davis.
It is Steve Davis.
Is it? I was going
He
to
got
say
there in
Davis,
the
but I
end.
just couldn't think back in the day how many he played.
Yeah. I knew he was ahead, but as I say, didn't think it was quite as many as 11. Anyway, Mario He would be very happy just to get to 1. Good run here, just as he had 12 months ago. Would help in that regard. He's opened his account now in this match. 2-1 down.
Well, he's finding the 1 ball a lot better in this match. In the first match, I spoke to him. He said he just couldn't get the 1 ball in the centre pocket, so he's made some adjustments. Sometimes you see the players move the cue ball across the box. It's all about finding the sweet spot, and I think he's made 2 from 2 so far.
Speaking of Nick Vandenberg, who you mentioned there, he has, within the last few minutes, joined the list of winners. In his opening match, he beat Simone Zappi of Italy, 9-2. And will now play Oliver Szolnoki of Hungary, former world semi-finalist. Janiuski has also won 9-0 over Martin Kramer.
Well, this is another good chance here for Ortmann. Mario's let that one slip. As long as you pot the 2 ball, this looks like it could be the most difficult shot of this rack. Just get this one right. It's not difficult, but he wants to make sure the cue ball doesn't land on the left rail. It's got to bounce off a little bit. You want a little bit of an angle on the red 3 ball.
Nicely done. It's been a good start to this session for legendary players from Germany, because Ralf Suke is leading 2-0 against Rainer Lahr. 4 Germans, as I was saying, have won the World Championship. The 2 younger ones, Torsten Homan and Joshua Filler, are both already through to winners' qualification after they won a couple of matches apiece yesterday. In those 8 Mosconi Cup appearances that Oliver Ortmann made, he was only on the winning team twice. It wasn't a great era for Europe. The Americans dominated the early years of that tournament. Fair to say, times have changed. Played in the first ever Mosconi in London in 1994.
This is very thin now. It's gone from a great chance to got to pass a little test here. Oh, this needs to travel though. Needs to keep travelling. And it's landed a little bit short like the previous one. This feels like a big moment early on in the match here. If Ortmann can get the job done here, just stamps a little bit more authority and just makes Mario sit in his chair thinking, okay, Ortmann can still play. Such an unorthodox cue action as Oliver. Didn't take his chance there. Big moment in the match for me, this now.
Looked as though he was half thinking about jumping over the table and blowing it in, though he followed it there. Oliver Ortmann was 2-0 in front. The opportunity was certainly there for him to still be in front at the end of this rack, but instead Mario He drawing level. It's 2-2. And this is the second round. Let's look at some other scores. Matches going on. In round 2, Duong Kwok Hwang 5-1 up on Jonas Kornmesser of Austria. Ko Ping Chung, who's won a big tournament quite recently, 4-1 down against Can Salim. Claudio Cacci, who made such an impact at the Spanish Open. That's going to be one of the interesting things this week, to see if he can build on that. He's taken the opening rack against the former Mosconi Cup player Chris Melling. Dmitry Yungo flying along, 6-0 up against Roberto Bartol. Elliot Sanderson, British player who we saw alongside Jason Shaw at the World Cup a few weeks ago, leading Nick Malai 2-0. Viktor Zielinski lost the opening rack to Kristina Zlateva, but now leads 2-1. David Al-Kaidi 2-0 up against Adam Stankovic. Chang Yunglin, very experienced player, level at 1-1 with Andreas Daniel. And that's how we stand in the other matches. Back here it's 2-2. I will also give you a first round result. Typhoon Tabor, part of the huge German contingent, has won 9-6 against Ramazan Aktag. Tabor now faces Janiuski.
We're only 5 racks in, 5 breaks. And nobody's really getting a good look off the break yet. You can see here there's this little cluster. It's like the balls, maybe they're hitting the pack a little bit too thin. The balls are not really spreading. The cue ball's down the bottom end of the table again off the break. So it's going to be push out, but this time it's going to be Mario to play the push. This is why the shot clock is a thing in the game of pool. We don't use it for the early stages just because there's too many matches going on. But there has been talk about just using it on the main table. That could be achievable, because it's not so much that the game's slow, it's more the players thinking is slow. I mean, I bet he's been over a minute here, hasn't he? Wondering where to push the ball to. The shot clock would just speed the shot up, speed the thought process up.
Yeah, and sometimes you see players when there's no shot clock, if they haven't got the position they're looking for, before they start trying to figure it out, they walk around the table, throwing their eyes to the heavens for about 10 or 15 seconds. That's part of it as well. I do think, though, if you are going to have a shot clock, my feeling would be it has to be round by round. Would it really be fair to have a player under the shot clock when someone else is playing in the same round of that tournament who isn't?
I agree, but I think for the good of the game, we're trying to grow it. It's still early days. At the end of the day, if you're on the main table, you've been put on because you're one of the top players, you're one of the names. You're used to playing under the shot clock because you go deep in the events, so everyone's done it. So I think for growing it, this is the feature table we're watching. So for me, you just put it on.
Yeah, that's a valid point as well. Sometimes absolute fairness has to give way to the greater good.
Obviously, it's little things as well. We're not saying it's like disastrously slow. It's just that shot clock just does speed up the thinking time. Yeah, I like this. This is a nice little shot he's playing here. Very inventive there. Always wonder if the other player spots that. You know, it'd be interesting if Oliver, when he's walking to the table, thought, oh, I didn't see that shot. I'll let them go. He may well be in trouble again, but kind of keeps him alive in this rack for one or two shots. The brown ball, the purple and the 9 are going to play a big part again here. Here comes the cue ball. Oh, he flicked the 7. Just flicked the 7 ball. If he'd have missed the 7, he'd have probably got the hook.
Around such a long time, Oliver Ortmann, it's a career of massive numbers in terms of, as I said, Mosconi Cup appearances and tournaments he's won on the European scene. And the first time he ever travelled outside Europe was all the way back in 1989 for a big event in the States, and he won it, beating no less a figure than Steve Mizorak in the final. Started winning titles at German national level a few years even before that. I just love the idea that someone half a century after taking up the game, and when his best years are clearly well behind him, can still have the enthusiasm to want to come out here and compete on a big stage.
Where's the 9 ball going? Has it stayed right over the pocket? Ooh, interesting. He may well be tempted here. If it's close enough over the pocket where, as long as he hits the 2 onto the 9, he will play it. Doesn't need to play it. He could pot the 2 and get close to the 3. Maybe he could then pot the 3 and then play the 4 onto the 9 as well. It's a funny one, that. Looks to me like if you put the cue ball behind the 2, it does look unmissable. I'm not saying it's right over the pocket, but now he's got to play another shot. He's perfect on the 3 ball though. There you go.
Can't let Mario He run away from him. He had lost the previous 2 racks, but now he's back in front. Oliver Ortmann leads 3-2. Now some other scores in this round. Duan Kwok Hwang still going well, 6-1 now against Jonas Kornmesser. Ko Ping Chung, winner of the recent tournament in the Philippines, 6-1 down against Khan Salim. Claudio Cacci now level at 1-1 against Chris Melling. Kostas Kukiadakis of Greece, 3-2 ahead of John Morra, who we saw playing for Canada at the World Cup recently. Dimitri Ungo going really well, 7-0 now against Roberto Bartol. Elliot Sanderson 2-1 up on Nick Malai. Winner of that plays the winner of the Ortmann-He match. 4 racks in a row now for Victor Zielinski after losing the opener to Kristina Zlateva. David O'Cady, who's also won a ranking tournament of late, has a 3-0 lead now against Adam Stankovic. Chang Young Lin 2-1 up against Andreas Daniel. And Rainer Lahr has taken the 3rd rack. Seems to have been a very long one to get back to 2-1 down against Ralph Souquet.
Not quite got the break dialed down, Oliver. That was a little full, hence the cue ball went high. So the story of the match so far continues. Nobody's getting a shot on the lowest ball after the break.
Maybe just elaborate on that a bit, Carl. What do you mean, a bit full?
Like from where he's aiming the cue ball, onto the 1. If you think about hitting it as full in the face as you can, he needs to be aiming a little bit thinner, because the fuller you hit the 1, the higher it goes up past the middle pocket. If you hit it too thin on the left hand side from where Oliver was breaking, it would go below the middle pocket. So there's a real sweet spot to it. I know some of the players make the 1 ball time and time again, but it's actually not that easy. It's something that you really have to dial down and practice with.
A bit too full in Fulda. Carl's gone very quiet now.
You've actually been very tame so far this week.
Just warming up, Carl.
That was a nice shot. Don't know if he'll get to have another look at that one, but he played that very good. Arc the cue ball into the rail. Watch the cue ball. And it arcs, just goes up towards that rail. Purposely sending the 1 ball around the 4 rails. Nicely done. The thing with, as we was talking about before, Michael, with the older players, you know, the legends, if you like, the guys, you said, World 9-ball champion 1995, that's a lifetime ago. They've got the knowledge is still there. It's fair to say, I think the older you get, you may start to miss a few more balls that you never used to, but that knowledge never goes. Look at this for an effort. Look at this for an effort. Needs to hit the rail. What a shot that is. Brilliant escape there from Mario He. He will be in trouble though. But nevertheless, what an escape this was. After contact, you must hit a rail.
Well, you were right. He is back in a bit of trouble. Imagine how different this game would be if that rule about having to make contact with a rail didn't exist. Particularly in situations like this, it would be so bogged down.
Well, it's funny you should say that. Over the years, I've spoke to a few snooker players, and I said I think snooker would benefit from having to hit a rail after contact. So imagine how much that would change their game.
Also because it's a bigger playing surface, so it would have much more impact because it would be harder to do. And
oh, he's played another beauty. That's exactly how he played it. He knew if he hit the left side, that's why Ortmann's tapping the table with his cue. That's a sign of appreciation for the shot. Showing his kicking class to stay in this rack, Mario.
what we're seeing here is a number of these shots in this exchange are being made that much more difficult by the fact that you've got to make contact with the rail, and it's all the more entertaining to watch for that.
And I know we've said it and we're repeating ourselves, this is why this break rule has come in, because you get to see a little bit more of this side of the game. Back in the day when the one ball was on the spot and the wing ball was flying in, you may make two balls, all the balls are in the open. I went to Singapore the back end of last year to commentate on a tournament there, and the one ball was on the spot, and I think for the full 5 days I might have seen maybe 5 kick shots, or it just becomes a bit too monotonous, a bit boring. This is what we want to see. We're seeing some good classy shots here from both players.
Do you think the fact that we're seeing more tactical exchanges in the game now, do you think there are some players who are struggling to come to terms with that and their results have declined as a result of it?
Possibly the players where they are full on attacking players, where they go for the shots, and obviously the pocket, the fact that it's now a 4-inch pocket. If you play the game on a 4.5-inch pocket, well, I think you could come straight from the nightclub and not really miss many balls, because you can kind of just point the ball and it'd wobble and sort of fall in, so you're going to play more attacking. Now you can just play a bit more defensive.
You look at someone like Jason Shaw, very attacking player. His results in these events over the last year or so haven't been the best. Could he be an example?
I think the thing with Jason is, I think he will openly admit his attitude and his mindset when he's been at the events. He's been a little bit negative, feeling like things are not going his way and this is happening and things like that. I think the fact that we're now on the 4-inch pocket, your cue ball's got to be a little bit better as well. You're not just going to keep potting your way out of trouble. Mario may well be attempting to, he'll have it in the back of his mind, maybe he's actually looking to see if he could pot the 3 there. Is that what he's playing? I think he is. He's trying to pot the 3 ball here with the purple. Oh, it's all gone wrong here. At first I thought we were going to flick off it and play the hook. He felt he could pot the 3 ball. He's missed it, and look what he's left. Also looks like there's a little bit of an angle there, so he can get back down towards the blue 2. And the red 3 is not quite over the pocket, so playing the 2 onto the 3 doesn't look like it is available. So now he's looking at playing the 2 into the rail to then cut the 3 in. This is the beauty of the game. You look at the table there and you think, oh, it looks easy, but it's not. Oliver's got the best seat in the house. He can see, you know, the angles and what's available.
You mentioned earlier, Carl, we've not seen much of Oliver Ortmann in recent years, and I know you know him well. Have you got any idea what he's been spending his time doing in recent years? Has he been coaching, working on that side of things?
Yeah, he actually has a billiard company where he sells all the equipment. He's got an online store. I think he's had that a good few years, to be fair.
Yeah, you can see that being advertised there, actually, on the back of his shirt.
I'm sure he still plays a lot of local tournaments.
Well, that's such a strong scene in Germany. Some of the really good German players that we see competing regularly in these events still go back and play at that level in their home country. It was a very lengthy visit to the table that didn't involve very much in the end.
Struggling to decide what to do here, isn't he? I think he's trying to get the cue ball on top rail and try and squeeze the two round. That's what he's played. Well, he's actually played the bank, but again, it kind of looks like it's been a bit of a swipe from Mario Heat. Not quite at the races in this match yet, is he?
Certainly seen plenty of body language from both players. No need to guess the emotions of either of them. Showing them all with their actions and reactions. The last big Matchroom event we were at was the World Cup of Pool just a few weeks ago in Spain. It's a tournament that Oliver Ortmann has a decent record in. He was a semi-finalist with Germany in the inaugural staging in 2006, and again 4 years later.
Just feel he lost the cue ball a little bit there. He's ended up quite close to his work. Now he's swapped hands. Does have an angle. I'm surprised he's not just going to top it off the top rail. It looks like he's aiming low. Yeah, he's going to try and stun the ball out. It's not a massive angle. Oh, he's done well here, by the way. He'll be delighted when that's finished.
Do you think after so long away from the big stage, it's almost like a case that every rack at the moment is helping him rediscover his touch and settle in that bit more?
Yeah, maybe so. Cue ball needs to slow down. Yep, he didn't pot the 6 clean. He got away with this though. He's landed straight into the side. It could have been a lot worse. Obviously he was playing for the brown 7 in the bottom right corner. Now he's looking to even see if it passes the 8, so has he got away with it? I think that'll sneak off that top jaw. But what angle is he faced with? Because, yeah, it looks like he could stop the cue ball and then play the 8 in the side, but that would be a little tight one as well. So is he going to try and roll forward? Yeah, he is. Oh, the flick has helped him. The flick has helped him. That's okay. So it's been a little bit sketchy, this rack. But it's going to be this 8 ball, guaranteed to be on the 9. And he's missed it by a mile. Both players struggling a little bit, but you feel it's Oliver Ortmann who's had more chances to get the gap, get a bigger gap. And he is not taking advantage. Mario He will play the bank into left centre.
So frustrating for Ortmann. He'd worked so hard, sweated blood in this rack to try and go 2 clear again, and having done most of the hard work, just a fairly straightforward 8 by a huge margin.
Yeah, good shot there. Really punished the Ortmann mistake. That will hurt Oliver. He'll be sat there fuming.
Well, he could have had a pretty significant lead at this stage when you look back over the last few racks. As it is, he has no lead at all because Mario He has levelled once again at 3 apiece. Still a bit of business to take care of in the first round. Emil Andre Gangflo of Norway, who beat Joshua Filler at the Spanish Open just a few weeks ago on his way to the last 16. He's on the hill at 8-5 against Andrei Schickling. Winner of that will play Mustafa Alnar of Cyprus, who was a winner 9-5 against American Robert Hart a short time ago. In this round that we're watching here, round 2, Duan Kwok Hwang is on the hill at 8-3. In fact, just as I say that, he's finished it off at 9-3 against Jonas Kornmesser, and will now play Daniel Maciol in winners' qualification. Ko Ping Chung still with a lot of work to do. 6-2 down against Can Salim. Young Claudio Cacci leading 3-2 over Chris Melling. Dmitry Yungo on the hill at 8-1 against Roberto Bartol. Elliot Sanderson 3-2 up on Nick Malai. And Victor Zielinski has won 5 of the last 6 now to lead Kristina Zlateva 5-2. David O'Cady 4-1 up on Adam Stankovic.
Well, this might be the first visit after the break where one of the players has got a look at the pot. When you're struggling though, these just seem like an impossible task to pot this ball. But it's the type of shot, if you do pot it, you feel like you've improved. You feel like you're back. There's nothing really to think about here. You've just got to pop this ball. He'll play like a little kill sort of drag shot that'll hold the cue ball for the red 3. It's not going to go. It was all a bit shoulder droppy, that one. You could see it. The first 6 racks of this match have been woeful. No one's just, no one's going for it. No one's stamping authority on this match. It's almost like they want to fall over the line.
Yeah, no question, Mario He is getting bogged down in it at the moment. You have to feel if there was a shot clock on this match, that wouldn't be happening to him. He wouldn't have time to be thinking about it, would just have to get on with the next shot. It's all dragging a bit for him at the moment. Can you remember any particular matches you had against Oliver Ortmann that stand out?
Not We spoke about this yesterday. I've just got a real bad memory with stuff like that. We've definitely played, but couldn't tell you where.
A lot of Euro Tour meetings, I would assume.
Yeah, maybe even some 8-ball events. I just can't put my finger on it. This is a big shot coming up. Yeah, that was better. Struck that very nicely indeed. Went in the middle of the pocket. I mean, it's fair to say Oliver will have grown up on the massive pockets as well, where, you know, you get away with a lot more. Doesn't want to be straight on the 8. Does not want to be straight on this ball. This is going to cause problems now, because to go forward and spin the cue ball off this bottom rail, you've got to hit this ball so clean. Other than that, he's got to just stop the cue ball there and play a tough 9. This is why your cue ball's got to be a lot better now. If we was playing on a bigger pocket here, you could simply roll the 8 forward and you wouldn't miss the 9. Well, he's decided to fluke it, but where's the cue ball going to go? Is he going to get away with it? He is. That is unbelievable. What a fluke. Look at this. How's this even got in that pocket?
That's the second rack in a row where he's missed an 8-ball by a long way into that very pocket. Got away with it this time, but was of no use to him in the end. And so Mario He, in strange circumstances at the end of that rack, finds himself leading now for the first time in the match, 4-3. Well, he looks slightly seething there.
Yeah, the referee was just telling him, just let Mario pop the 9 over, but heat of the moment, this is what you do.
We had that at the World Championship, of course, earlier in the year, where FSR never got to pot the winning 9. Different circumstances, though. I don't think there was any petulance on the part of Sufi in that instance. Emil Andre Gangflo still got work to do. He's here looking to build on his good showing in the Spanish Open. But Andre Schickling has closed to 8-6 in their first round encounter. In this second round, Ko Ping Chung is dangerously close to defeat now, 7-2 behind against Can Salim. 3-all in the generational clash of Claudio Cacci and Chris Melling. Kostas Kukiadakis now 5-3 up on John Mora. Victor Zielinski 6-2 ahead of Kristina Zlateva. And Ralph Souquet now 4-1 up on Rainer Lahr. First dry break of the match for He.
He'll be tempted with the bank shot here into the middle pocket where he stood. There's the cue ball.
I bet it was in the previous rack before he had the wild miss on the 8 and the outrageous fluke that it led to. Just starting to look like he was maybe building a little bit of rhythm for the first time in the match.
These are the shots what are going to catch you out. What he should really do is play it quite soft and just stay at the table, really. Whenever you start to try and spin the ball like that or play it very hard, the pot has to be more accurate.
It's starting to look like this is just going to be a feature of the match that he can't shake off, that he's going to keep throwing in misses. Some of them at unexpected times, and some of them, as we've seen, by big margins.
Watch out, 5 ball. I think he's just okay. I think he can pop this 4 ball. This could have gone all wrong, it really could. It's a game of fine margins, and that just proves it there. Still need to knock this ball in, mind, but you should do. You should be putting these at this level. Surely that's not snuck behind the 9. His body language will tell us all we need to know. He could, yeah, I mean, he should still be alright. He could swerve it a little bit. He could swerve it into the rail and then hit the ball to pot it as well.
We were talking earlier about the prospect of Mario He maybe making his Mosconi Cup debut later this year. I think he'd be a very good addition to the side when you look at his record in team play at the World Cup. Went twice for Austria. In between those 2 wins, they also got to another final. Mario He and Albin Ocean did well again in this year's staging. Survived a scare against Australia in the first round, then beat Bosnia and Herzegovina in the second. They were 8-4 down against the Philippines in the semi-finals. Mario He had a golden break along the way of their recovery to 8-all. Then he scratched off the break in the decider, and the Philippines saw it out from there. It was another good team performance that he was part of. He might just be starting to feel that things are going his way in this match. Really got off the hook. And he looked to be going 4-3 down in the previous rack, and on a couple of occasions in this rack he's been very close to losing position, but has just managed to stay at the table. And now he's going to be too clear for the first time in the match. Was 2-0 down. He's won 5 out of 6 since then, and Mario He is now past the halfway point in his quest to find 9 racks for victory. He leads 5-3. Andre Schickling continuing his recovery against Emil Andre Gangflo. It's 8-7 now to the Norwegian. That's in round 1. In round 2, Ko Ping Chung still a couple of racks away from defeat. 7-2 down to Kan Salim. Kostas Koukiadakis now 6-3 up on John Morra. Nick Malai has gone 4-3 up on Elliot Sanderson. Viktor Zielinski leading 7-2 against Kristina Zlateva. David O'Cady 4-2 up on Adam Stankovic. Chang Yung-Lin gradually taking control against Andreas Daniel. He now leads 5-3. Ralph Suke is 4-2 up on Rainer Lahr. who had his first dry break of the match in the previous rack. And this time he's scratched. And a chance for Ortmann to stem the tide here, Carl.
Yeah, very good chance. Just having a quick glance around the table, there's no problems whatsoever. And just looking at where the balls have landed, it's up there with one of the easiest racks you'll see all week, just because the balls connect to the other ball. The purple 5's near the pink 4, then the green 6 is near the brown 7. And look where the 8 ball is, you could just play a stop shot and you're on the 9. This is very nice. He's not happy with the first shot though. Must have landed a little straight. It's all about angles. Yeah, look at this. It's all going wrong off the first shot for Oliver. He had ball in hand and he left the cue ball dead straight on the pink 4, so he had to roll the cue ball forward. Unbelievable. I mean, if he doesn't clear up here, we may see something get thrown. Okay, so he's managed to rectify it and get back where he should have been.
This goes back to what I was saying just a few minutes ago. When he finds himself having to play 5 or 6 competent shots in a row, it just seems to be very difficult for him to do that today without getting himself in trouble at some stage. Hardly surprising. Massive rust to shake off. But he's got himself through this rack. Mario he scratched from the break, sat down for the rest of it. So Oliver Ortmann still in this. It's 5-4. I'll tell you the next match on the main table. And we were talking earlier about the Mosconi Cup races on both sides of the Atlantic. First automatic place to be confirmed for both teams this week. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz already guaranteed to take the European spot. Skylar Woodward out in front in the quest to be first American to book their place at Alexandra Palace. And Woodward will be along to play Damien Massey, the British player, next up on this table. Ko Ping Chung won the 10th rack against Can Salim. He really needed to. Salim still well in charge of that one though at 7-3. Dimitri Yongo has been on the hill for quite some time now. Roberto Bartol is making him wait. It's 8-3.
Oliver's just not got the break dialed down, has he? It's another break where it's dry, one ball's not gone in the side. Needs to find the gap, boys. He done well there. That was not easy.
Talked earlier about Oliver Ortmann's extensive Mosconi Cup playing record. He's actually been captain as well and was pretty close to being the first European captain to win in America 20 years ago this year. They were 8-6 up going into the last day in Las Vegas, but then the Americans took charge really and won 11-9.
going for the jump cue. He will hit this ball. He's getting it safe though. Good effort, could see what he was trying to do. He was just trying to get the one on that top rail. Not an easy shot, he was very close to nailing it. Chance for heat. We're just approaching the latter stage of this match, so it's been a bit of a mess so far, but he will know. It's just all about getting the win. He'll have been under a little bit of pressure. He's probably not played Ortmann for a good few years himself.
Mario He back in a venue with generally good memories for him from last year. All the talk going into the inaugural European Open was about Joshua Filler playing in his home country, coming in great form after winning 2 big titles earlier in the summer. Mario He stopped him in his tracks though, with a comprehensive win in the quarterfinals. He had a really good chance to beat Albin Ocean in the semis, ended up losing. Overall, it was still a very good week for him. Perhaps been a bit disappointed with how he's done in the other 2 Matchroom Open events there have been so far this year. Went out in the last 32 in both London and Lugo. He did well in a Matchroom big field event right at the start of the year, the World Championship no less, when he was looking very good for a place in the final. Then Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 7-2. And only won 1 further rack out of the next 10 as FSR went through, and later that day became champion of the world. Been a year when he's lost a number of close finishes. He's 1 rack away from the semi-finals of the World Masters. Eklund Kachi beat him there. It's really a theme through 2022 as well. I mentioned that match against Ocean here. He was also just pipped in the closing stages of his UK Open quarter-final last year against David O'Cady, and then similar situation when he went down 10-8 to Si Cha Chen in the last 16 of the US Open. So a slightly better record in close finishes to big matches. He could have been at a whole other level in his career over the last year or so. Back to the present day, and for the second time he's gone a couple of racks clear in this match. Mario He leads Oliver Ortmann 6-4. He needs 3 more to advance.
Yeah, the winner of this match will be in winners qualification round, so they will get 2 goes at qualifying for the final 64.
Andrei Ionescu of Romania is looking good to be in that winner's qualification. 4-0 up now against the Austrian player Fabian Bohler. Can Salim on the hill against Ko Ping Chung on the brink of a really big win. 8-3 there. 4-all between Claudio Cacci and Chris Melling. Kostas Koukiadakis just ahead of John Morra at 6-5. And another Greek player leading by a single rack is Nick Malai, 5-4 over Elliot Sanderson. They're playing for the right to meet the winner of this match. Dmitry Jungo has finally got over the line at 9-3 against Roberto Bartol of Croatia. Viktor Zielinski finished off with 9 of the last 10 racks to beat Kristina Zlateva, 9-2. Ralph Souquet now 5-3 up against Rainer Lahr. 6-4 here to Mario He.
Stuart Bullrun Bingham and Sullivan Clark have just entered Table 2 arena. They will have a quick warm-up, quick practice before they get their match underway.
We were talking earlier about how sometimes when these snooker players come to play in the pool events, they get through the first couple of matches, as we see Stuart there, and then they run into one of the very biggest names and it becomes a step too far for them. Well, if Bingham gets through that match, very good chance he'll be playing Skylar Woodward in the next round, as the winners of those two matches will face each other.
Yeah, it looks like he can see the potting angle, but it is not an easy pot, even if he can. That was his worry, Michael. He was worried about the cue ball. He fancied knocking the ball in, but it was all about the cue ball. I can only think he was just trying to glance off the top side of the 8. To flick back out into the centre wasn't easy.
Just can't get any momentum going in the match. Mario He might have fancied, once it got to 6-4, that he could kick on from there. But with ball in hand now, it's a chance for Ortmann to send another signal that he's not going away in this match. He can get back to only one behind. Emil Andre Gangflow has finally brought the first round to its conclusion. Struggled to kill it off against Andrei Schickling, but he's there now. He's won 9-7 and will play Mustafa Alnar of Cyprus in round 2.
He's still in this match, Oliver. Somehow. He's still there. If he can just pinch this rack. Only one behind.
Absolutely still in, isn't he? Look at a couple of racks that he lost that he might well have won. Think of the position he could have been in. He's played that nicely, and this looks pretty straightforward from here. I was saying earlier, it feels like maybe after so long away, every single rack is another important step in terms of feeling his way back in. Looking relatively comfortable here. Once again, he's back to only one behind at 6-5. Fabian Bowler has gone off the mark in this second round against Andrei Ionescu, but the Romanian still looking pretty strong at 4-1. Ko Ping Chung has won the 12th rack, but his opponent Can Salim is on the hill. It's 8-4. Chris Melling just ahead of Claudio Cacci at 5-4. David Al-Kaidi now with a 6-2 lead over Adam Stankovic. Andreas Daniel, one of the German contingent, giving a good account of himself against Chang Yong-lin. Chang leading 6-4 at the moment. Ralph Souquet managing to stay ahead of Rainer Lahr of Estonia. That one is 5-3.
Well, look at the difference here, Michael. He's made the one in the centre pocket. And look at the split he's got. What a chance this is. Watch the one go in the middle. Straight in the middle as well. In clean. Just overrun the cue ball a wee bit here. Now this is a lot thinner than this looks, and when you're not where you want to be, this is when you make mistakes, and he's made mistakes. He's missed another one. The 4-inch pocket, the poor cue ball control just seems to me like it is going to be the unfolding of the former world 9-ball champ Oliver Ortmann. They see, look at the difference. That tells you how thin that shot was, the overhead.
Yeah, he's had so many chances in this match, but the way things are going for him, you feel the number of chances he would need to actually get 9 racks on the board would be astronomical. Well, it's been a real slog for Mario He. Been full on struggling at times in this match. But now he might just be starting to see the next round appearing on the horizon. Because he's 2 away from victory, he's 2 clear. It's 7-5. Another opportunity passed up by Ortmann in that rack. Fabian Bowler was 4-0 down to Andrei Ionescu. He's won 2 in a row since. 5-all now in the match between Claudio Cacci and Chris Melling. So interesting to see if young Cacci can build on his out-of-nowhere successful run at the Spanish Open. 6-all in the match between John Mora and Kostas Koukiadakis. Nick Malai 6-4 up on Elliot Sanderson. Michael Schneider has won the 5th rack to go 3-2 in front against Zhao Grillo. Chang Yong-lin closing in on victory now at 7-4 against Andreas Daniel. And David O'Cady leads Adam Stankovic 6-2. Ralph Souquet 6-3 up on Rainer Lahr now.
Decent enough break. Got that cue ball, got that arc going, didn't it? Can pot the 2, but he has problems with that red 3 ball. Another one of these instances where Mario's been stood there well over a minute now. I'm not saying it's an easy position he's in, but you ain't got many options. You either pop the 2 ball in the top left and then do something with the 3, whatever that may be. The thing with 9 ball is it's a funny game unless you've played it and you've played it to a certain level, like a good level. It's fine margin, so he's looking at potting the 2 and then he's actually been thinking, well, could I bank the 3? But banking the 3 is not going to be easy. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's going to try and play the bank, I think. Cue ball's just run a little bit too much. I don't know if you can even run the cue ball in behind the 8. Good pot though, here's another look.
Well, it's taken him a long time, but he's still making progress in this rack. Oliver Ortmann showing his appreciation for that shot with the little tap on his chair. Ko Ping Chung would have come here with so much confidence after his recent tournament win in the Philippines. And if he's to feature in single elimination, he's going to have to win 3 matches on the loser's side, because Can Salim of Germany has beaten him by 9 racks to 4.
Can Salim won a qualifier to get here as well. Emily Fraser, the CEO of Matchroom Multisports, she spoke a lot about the vision and the fact that these open events at some point, maybe next year, they will be hosting a certain amount of qualifiers to qualify for the main event, and that's what Khan Salim has done.
And so much of what's going on in the game at the moment is about opportunity for players, no matter what they're standing in the game. And that really underlines those possibilities. Playing in a qualifier, next thing you know, you're up against one of the form players who's in the top 10 in the world rankings, and you're beating him. So Khan Salim will now go through to play either Claudio Cacci or Chris Melling. They're currently level, 5-all. It was a bit of an effort to get that far, but hasn't been able to keep it going. Claudio Cacci has just won the 11th rack to go ahead of Chris Melling at 6-5.
Boy, he's got to hit this one good. With pace, it's got to go centre of the pocket. Didn't quite get enough draw into the cue ball, but he'll take that. He's got to look at this 6-ball now. Actually, a nice shot there from Oliver.
Yeah, I think a classic example of shot that didn't work out exactly as he wanted to, but can still be filed under the heading of good effort. From good effort to good chance. Look at the mistakes he's made and the chances he's passed up. The fact that he's likely to be still right in it at only 7-6 down in a couple of shots' time really is quite inexplicable. Well, Mario He was looking to get to the hill. He was looking to establish the first 3-rack gap on either side in this contest, but it hasn't happened for him. Oliver Ortmann still right in there. It's 7-6. Mario He is looking very frustrated with everything. This is the second round, trying to get through to winners' qualification. Once we're in this round, Stuart Bingham has taken the first rack against Sullivan Clark. And Ralph Souquet has a 7-3 lead over Rainer Lahr. Stuart Bingham in action, as I was saying there. There's his fellow snooker player, Gary Wilson. And Gary's wife, Robin, taking in the action.
Doesn't want to flick one of these balls and stick it over near the corner. Maybe that's what he's just done. It's not all bad though, because getting on the 2 is brutal. Don't even think the 2 passes. He can't draw into the 2 and all to try and make something happen. It's just been one of them games, Michael, hasn't it? No one's played at their best ability. Balls have been awkward. It's been a real grind. Whoever wins this will be delighted to see the back of this match. Just unscrew your cue and pretend it never happened.
We'll be seeing Gary Wilson again tomorrow in winners' qualification against Alex Kazakis. And I know you and Gary are best buddies these days. Carl, have you been talking to him about his chances? Is he coming to events now thinking, I want to be going further, I want to be in semi-finals and finals?
Yeah, I think the fact that, we've not seen one of the new breed of snooker players go real deep yet and do major damage, but what they do have is they've got the competitive edge, haven't they? Because obviously they play on the snooker tour week in, week out, more or less. So coming to this tournament, a pool tournament, they're still going to have that. Some of them will play with a little bit of freedom, but that always changes the deeper you get into a tournament when you get into a real match. But he's feeling confident. He's getting a little bit more used to things out there. So it's interesting as well to see how the snooker boys get on. I mean, we speak about it a lot over the years. It does wind a lot of pool players up. But obviously, it's not like we can go and play on, their game, because it's a closed shop. If you don't get on the tour, you don't play, do you? I suppose that's the beauty of what we've got going on. I mean, Oliver Ortmann, we've not seen him for a while. He's entered and here he is playing. And we go from all sorts of age ranges, don't we? We've got women playing the event, juniors are in it. I wonder who the oldest player is in the field.
What age is Ralph now? Well, he's older than Oliver, isn't he? Or is he?
No, I'm gonna say he isn't.
I think he's slightly younger, actually. So maybe it's Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, there might be there might be another player out there that we're not familiar with that's older. But certainly, a player that we're familiar with, the players that have won some of the majors and played in the Mosconi Cups. I think Ralph's mid-50s.
Yeah, Ralph's 54. He'll be 55 in November. People talk a lot about diversity in sport these days, and sometimes it can be a bit forced, a bit contrived. It just happens naturally in pool. The open format is a big part of that.
Yeah, Christina Zlateva, Pia Filler. Was the only two women in the event? Or have I missed somebody else?
I think there might be others, but the point is, when players like that come to play in events, they're not really seen as separate or as lady players. They're just part of the scene.
Yeah, just pool players. We was with Christina last night. We were out for some food. She was there. She's just another pool player. She's a good pool player as well. Another instance here of just sheer undecisive time wasting. Just the game has done this match. It's been a grind. The shot clock would actually help the players here. Look at this mad cue action going on here. It's just unique, isn't it? It really is.
Do you think it's much the same as when he was in his prime, or has it changed in your view?
I think it's got worse. I think from what I remember years ago, I think it developed because I think he had issues with his back. So obviously he's got to stand how he feels comfortable in order to play.
Yeah, there's a good view of it there from side on. Stuart Bingham has won the second rack against Sullivan Clark, so leads 2-0 now. Interesting one to keep an eye on. Ko Ping Han is just starting out against Tyler Steyer. Steyer, of course, with big ambitions of being in another Moscone Cup team this year, and coming down to the last few big events in that points race. It's a big match for him. A really close one going on between John Morra and Kostas Koukiadakis. 7-all in that one now.
Well, we've seen it at the last event with Gary Wilson missing a straight 9. I was just glancing at Stuart Bingham's table. He's just missed a straight 9. I couldn't believe it. Such a great potter and cueist. Unbelievable. That match is now 2-1 to Stuart, so he still leads over Sullivan Clark. But what a ball he's just missed there.
Yeah, and there he is. Looking a little embarrassed about it. I think with Bingham, his snooker career over the last year or so has really taken quite a dip, it has to be said. And I wonder, is he just playing here, feeling it out and thinking that perhaps Poole could give him an opportunity to still be doing well in tournaments of some sort over the coming years? Could be a big shout emanating from table 7 sometime soon, because Elliot Sanderson is now 7-6 ahead of Nick Malloy. We're keeping a particularly close eye on that one, because the winner of it will play the winner of this one.
Not really sure what Oliver was attempting there. It was all a bit strange out there. This does look like a chance though, doesn't it? If he puts the 2 ball. Well, this match has just been a complete disaster, Michael. Both players just struggled from the get-go. There's been no let-up. All balls have just seemed difficult now.
You'd expect that with Ortmann though, wouldn't you, after so long away? And do you think perhaps it's been a case of him dragging Mario He down a bit?
Yeah, I know in his first match, Mario, he won 9-0 against my friend Lawrence Thomason, and he didn't break great, so I'm not sure if he's fully feeling confident in his own game, and this is not going to do him any favours. But you can play your way into any tournament in any sport, really. Sometimes you just don't feel right, and the next day you play like a world beater. I think there's just been no rhythm, has there? It's just been so stop-start and just, again, just a complete grind. But what's actually amazing is he has a chance to tie the match up.
Well, he would have been coming into this playing the guy who's ranked number 6 in the world and thinking, okay, I might have a chance if I play really, really well here and bring back some of the old magic. He hasn't done that at all, but could still get the W. But he just keeps doing things like that. And it doesn't look as though there's any chance at any point of the match of him just managing to keep his head and keep his consistency and keep playing competent shots for half a dozen shots in a row. It just keeps catching up with him.
I think it's easy to sit here and criticise. That's what we're paid to do, of course, so we'll continue to do that. But I've been out there where things have just been a nightmare, and you could have the first chance in the first wrap, make a mess of it, and then you're thinking, how have I done that? I would never do that in practice, it's impossible. And when you do it, things just start to build up.
But it might not bother him so much if he was way behind in the match. I think it's the fact that Mario He's own struggles have given Ortmann the chance to actually win this match, and he's doing his best to pass it up.
Yeah, also, let's just say Francisco Sanchez Ruiz was making a few mistakes. He can sort of just bounce around the table still. You know, he's having a good couple of years. He's the, the #1 player on tour. He's the first man in the Moscow Cup team. So there's a lot of things like that going on. So Ortmann's coming in, the European Open's in Germany. He's from Germany, and he's decided to have a go. He doesn't want to play out there and play bad, does he? And he's in the match. Regardless of what has happened, we're at the end of this match and he can still win. And there's a decent crowd dotted around. You often don't see it on the camera angle because you can only see the sort of tiered seating behind the arena, but right behind our table there's a flock of people. They're all sat round the side. They're behind the TV where the score is, so it's a match people wanted to see. People wanted to come and see what Ortmann could still deliver. And look at this, Mario He has missed the 8-ball. Both players in this match have completely gone.
It looked as though Mario He is going to complete the act of struggling his way onto the hill. And then out of nowhere he's opened the door for another Oliver twist.
How long have you been waiting for that one? How long have you had that one planned for, Michael?
Well, he won the World Championship 28 years ago. Since around then.
Well, he's left this a little tricky. He's not the most compact of cueists, but it's in the middle.
Yeah, that definitely came under the head. Oh, hang on.
Mario
Wow.
doesn't know. Mario doesn't know. He doesn't know. He was packing his stuff up to take a timeout, and the 9-ball has gone in, but the cue ball has. Wow. Look at this. I wasn't even looking at the cue ball. That was unbelievable. What has he done there, Michael?
I should have saved the Oliver twist line for that moment, because that was massively unexpected. I think it would have been less surprising if he just missed the 9, given what we've seen before. And Mario He, after an extraordinary rack, is now on the hill. Well, it's not been a match it's going to live long in the memory for its quality, but if you were to write the story of everything that's happened, probably would add up to one of the great novels. And it was like slow torture there for Ortmann, because I'm watching it there in replay. It really just seemed to be rolling forever before finally dropping in, and wasn't entirely sure that it was going to have the pace to get there. And look at that face. Oliver Ortmann biting his finger there. I don't know whether that's through anxiety or just wanting to stop himself from letting out a scream of frustration. Okay, so let's look elsewhere in this round. Andrei Ionescu of Romania reasserting himself now after losing a couple of racks to Fabian Bowler. He's won 2 in a row to now lead 6-2. Claudio Cacci just ahead of Chris Melling at 7-6. Stuart Bingham put that mistake in rack 3 firmly behind him. Won the next 2 now. He leads Sullivan Clark 4-1. Tyler Steyer has taken the first against Ko Ping Han. John Mora and Kostas Kukiadakis level at 7-all. Michael Schneider, 5-3 in front of Zhao Grillo. David O'Cady's on the hill now, 8-3 against Adam Stankovic. And Chang Yong Lin, he's certainly someone who could win a tournament like this. He's won his match against Andreas Daniel, 9-5. Jan van Lierop has taken the first rack against Bizarre Spahiu. Robbie Capito of Hong Kong, level at 2-all with Daniel Guttenberger. And Ralph Souquet is through. He's won 9-3 against Rainer Lahr. And he is going to play Torsten Homan in a clash of German former world champions in the winners' qualification round. Well, we're sitting here absolutely stunned by everything really that happened in that last rack. Mario He with the unexpected miss. And Oliver Ortmann leaving himself a testing 9. Certainly missed easier balls than that in the course of this match. He didn't miss that one, but he didn't manage to keep the cue ball on the table. Mario He has left the room for a moment, which is only going to add to Ortmann's opportunity to sit there and stew on what's just transpired a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I can only think he was just putting too much thought into the pot because the cue ball was near the rail. He's just completely forgot about the middle pocket. What has he done? Mario's had to get himself out of there. He's seen enough. He'll be disappointed with his own performance, but it can happen. These things do happen. This is table 2, Stuart Bingham for Sullivan Clark. 4-1. He's going along nicely.
Yeah, if you're not aware, Stuart Bingham on his 9-ball debut beat the former World Masters runner-up Lo Ho Sum earlier today. Looked to settle into the game very quickly. Mario He has not settled at all into this match, and yet he's breaking on the hill. Claudio Cacci now on the hill, 8-6 against Chris Melling. That would be another significant step forward for Claudio Cacci, who's very new to the scene himself.
Yeah, he's a tidy operator. He's the young man, the younger brother of Eklund Cacci. If you've not heard, Eklund Cacci's not here. He was involved in an off-road car accident. Luckily he's okay, his arm's not okay though. So he's out of action for a couple of months, Michael.
What an awful time for that to happen really, because we've got 3 of these big open events coming fairly close together. US Open next month, Asian Open a couple of weeks after that.
Yeah, it's a shame, but the main thing is his health, and we wish him all the best. I'm sure he's watching, keeping an eye on his younger brother.
And not only that, of course, the fact that he'd been playing so well in recent times, almost won the World Masters, did win the UK Open. He was just starting to find that consistency that has perhaps eluded him over the years. But yeah, of course, we wish him well and hope to see him again soon.
I wonder what point in your pool career, when you've achieved so much but clearly your game's dropped, do you decide enough's enough? Or is it not a case of just play on freedom and what will be, just accept, you know, what level you produce? But Ortmann still looks like he's hurting because he wants to win this match. He wants to prove he can still play the game.
But as you were saying earlier, it's so hard, no matter how much you're practicing and no matter how much local level pool you're playing, to come back out here into this environment. You've got to expect you're going to miss a few unexpected balls. Now, granted, he wouldn't have anticipated missing quite as many as he has today, or making the mistakes that he has in all aspects of the game. No matter how good you've been, you can't just come out and play big events in isolation. You look at the example of Tiger Woods, probably the greatest golfer of all time, and he'd love to be playing more, but because of injury problems he can't. And you can see in the few tournaments he does play, he goes there talking up his chances to win them. And then it becomes clear that it's just not possible to go out and compete like that. You're only performing on an occasional basis. Elliot Sanderson on the hill now at 8-6 against Nick Malai. Kostas Koukiadakis on the hill, 8-7 over John Morra.
Okay, after what feels like an eternity, Mario He's going to have a chance to win the match. If he gets this shot right, if he gets near the top rail, it should be over. Play this with a bit of right spin, check it up one rail. And it's just a case for Mario He won't put too much thought into this, it's just one of them. It's just been a struggle, it's been a grind. He's obviously got himself through to winners qualification round, so he'll probably have a practice and just think it is what it is. He's a very easygoing character. He's the type of character that can easily forget about this. Probably just laugh, to be honest, knowing Mario.
Well, he was 2-0 down. He later trailed again at 3-2. A couple of times in the match it looked as though he was going to establish a big lead. Oliver Ortmann, rather in spite of himself, kept hanging on in the match. But he's just made too many mistakes. Mario He's made a few of his own. But in the end, his greater experience in recent years and his lofty world ranking position told quite a story, I think. Mario He then wins the last couple of racks to close it out against Oliver Ortmann, 9-6. And his likely opponent in winners qualification at the moment is Elliot Sanderson. He leads Nick Malai 8-6 in their match. Skylar Woodward has been having a very good 2023. We'll be seeing him on the main table in a few minutes' time.
This championship is being played with the new Aramith tournament set. Featuring a unique molecular structure, it guarantees razor-sharp precision and unsurpassed longevity. Unquestionably the best pool balls in the world, this set is available in a TV and a value pack version, as well as in the new My Aramith Ranger of Ball and Q cases. Now you can bring and play with the best ball set everywhere you go. My Aramith, bringing new dimensions to your billiards experience.
Welcome back to Fulda on the second day of the European Open, where we've seen Mario He in a match of really low quality just get through there against Oliver Ortmann by 9 racks to 6. Here's what's been happening on table 2. Whitewash wins for Ko Ping Chung and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Ko Ping Chung, though, has since been beaten and sent over to the loser side. Viktor Zielinski lost the opening rack to Kristina Zlateva, but was dominant after that in a 9-2 win. And Stuart Bingham is leading Sullivan Clark 5-1. Bingham playing his first ever 9-ball tournament. Beat Low Ho Sum earlier today. He might have been even further in front there because the one rack he lost, he missed an absolute sitter of a 9-ball. On table 1, Duong Quoc Huang winning the all-Vietnamese clash to start the day. That was Stuart Bingham's victory earlier on that I was telling you about. I also mentioned that Mario He match that finished just a few minutes ago. And next up, we're going to see Skylar Woodward, who's having a very good year. He's playing Damien Massey. It was also a pretty good 2022 for Woodward, and that included playing the Matchroom fans' Shot of the Year.
So they've had a little chat.
It's awkward, as you said, Carl. Oh my, what a shot. Didn't see that coming, buddy.
I didn't see it as well, but I'll tell you what, they're going to need things like that. I think Skylar actually mentioned maybe the 9 would go. Certainly get contacted, but he was trying to get the cue ball round. So, rank 1, fluke 9, day 4, the Mosconi Cup. Is that a sign of things to come?
Unbelievable shot there from Woodward. He did mention that the 9 was going to have a little bit of action off of the 2, but I don't think any of us saw that coming. Have another look at it. Banks the 2 rather, flush into the 9, slices it in the bottom left. I mean, what a shot.
Swing so clean as well, didn't he? Look at this.
Well, after Coventry in 2020 and then London in 2021, Europe did complete the hat-trick in Las Vegas late last year. But that was one special moment for Skylar Woodward to remember. He's something of a Mosconi Cup veteran at this stage. He's been MVP in the past on a couple of occasions, and he's currently leading the race for the first automatic spot on the American team for this year's Mosconi Cup. As you can see, just over $10,000 ahead of Shane Van Boning. Whoever's top of that American list at the end of this tournament will get the first automatic spot, and then the second place will be decided after the US Open next month in Atlantic City. The final automatic spot after the Asian Open in Vietnam just a few weeks after that. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz arrived here already certain to claim the first automatic spot on the European team. Eklund Kachi couldn't have caught him even if he'd won the tournament. Kachi, as we were saying earlier, has been involved in an accident, and although he's okay, he is sufficiently injured to not be able to play here. But even if he had been, FSR was uncatchable. So 3 automatic places, 2 captains' picks on both teams. And speaking of the captains, big announcement coming there in just a few days' time. And there is the current leader of the American Mosconi Cup points race, Skylar Woodward, having a very consistent year in 2023, and here for another crack at finally landing a big title. So this will be starting in just a few moments. While we're waiting, let's look in. On table 2, Stuart Bingham has now made it 6-1 against Sullivan Clark. Bingham looked very good earlier on against Low Ho Sum and seems to be picking up from there in this one. Could be joining his fellow snooker player Gary Wilson in the winners' qualification round tomorrow. So we'll obviously keep you posted on that one. Back here, time to get things underway. Between Skylar Woodward and Damien Massey. What can you tell us about Damien Massey, Carl?
Yeah, he's been around the English 9-ball scene for a few years. Always played on the GB9 tour. Super nice guy. Good cueist, good solid cueist. Probably lacks belief and maybe a little bit of bottle in the big matches, but he is a good solid cueist, as I just said, but he needs to get off to a good start. He's not really used to playing in this type of environment, although he does enter as many of the events as he possibly can. And he seems to have a very flashy shirt on. So we'll try and get a closer look at that. He actually played the Spanish Open, and he had a picture of me and Emily on his shirt. I don't know what that was about, but he did. Very bizarre.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. He had a picture of you and Emily Fraser?
Yeah, on the front of his shirt.
Wow. Trying to curry favour with the establishment. And that includes you now, Carl.
Yeah, but I don't think putting me with Emily's going to do him any favours. The break shot from Skylar looked like it was a complete miss-hit. Does the cue ball go through the gap just to pop the one and try and do something with the two? Clearly doesn't.
There's a bit of a theme going on there, wasn't there, at the Spanish Open? Because was it Gareth Esprit who came into the arena for one of his matches, basically dressed as Darth Vader?
Yeah, and then got beat 9-1 off Shane Van Boden. Listen, you've had a bit of fun and games, haven't you? Talking about shirts, Skylar's looking very loud and jazzy today as well. Back-to-back semi-finals in the previous 2 Open events. Getting very close, Skylar. He has got the game. Regardless of the shot he's just played, he definitely has the game. Skylar's one of them players where if he's going to get beat, he gets beat early on. He plays his way into the tournament. Plays on confidence and instinct. He's the type of player where he could lose on table 24 to you, Michael, but then beat SVB on centre court in the quarters.
If he was losing to me, he'd have no hope of coming through the loser's side, let alone getting to the quarters. Yeah, but, you know, going back to what you were saying, you talk all the time in various sports about players knocking on the door. It's often said if you knock on it and keep on doing that, it will open eventually. I mean, that's just not true, is it? Because you see people in various sports who go close time and time and time again. He's not so much knocking on the door of late as doing that and then going home and bombarding the host with phone calls to try and get in.
Yeah, Damien Massey was down south in England. This is what I do love about the game of 9-ball. I love the fact that our attire, you know, what the players can wear, is a lot more relaxed than the game of snooker, where they wear, you know, the waistcoat and the dicky bow, the long sleeve shirt. Now we've got, you know, onboard sportswear who design a lot of the players' shirts, and this new form of making the shirts, you can pretty much have anything you want on them.
Just to clarify for anyone just joining us now, this is not the clothes show you're watching. We do seem to have been talking a lot about shirts since the match began.
Okay, he can pot this ball, but because of where the cue ball is, he's got to sort of slow roll this. It's one of the worst shots for a professional pool player to play. The old slow roller, can't trust it. But he's done a good job of making the ball.
Just like Mario He, who we saw in the previous match, Skylar Woodward has recently entered his 30s. He started the year down at number 41 in the world rankings. I think it was clear that he wasn't going to be staying there for very long. With the results he's had since then, he's managed to get himself all the way up to number 13. Feels a bit of a culture shock to see a rack like this and what Woodward's doing at this visit after the absolute slog in the previous match where neither player got any momentum at any stage.
This needs to keep travelling. It's got to get past the 9. Oh, this is very sporting. We wouldn't expect anything else on the professional tour. The cue must have just nudged the 9 ball. If we get another look, we will see that. There's no referee. We have a floating ref between table 1 and 2. Now, players can call a referee. We have little segments of the arena, 4 tables in each segment. Some segments we have 2. So you can get a referee over to watch a close shot. But Skylar Woodward delivering the cue through, he must have flicked the 9 ball.
No, I didn't notice anything in real time. Don't think you did either, so all credit to Skylar Woodward for owning up to that and basically handing the first rack over. But Damien Massey leads 1-0. Let's look in on some other scores then. Mark Bijsterbosch, who so nearly won the Spanish Open a few weeks ago, level at 1-1 with Petr Urban of the Czech Republic. Claudio Cacci and Chris Melling have gone to a hill-hill finish. Winner of that will play Can Salim in winners' qualification. Can Salim, who beat Ko Ping Chung a little earlier this afternoon. Stuart Bingham is now 7-1 up on Sullivan Clark. Tyler Steyer is also going well with a 4-0 lead over Ko Ping Han. Sanyan Pelovanovic has taken the first rack against JJ Fall. Michael Schneider on the hill at 8-6 against João Grillo. Simon Kural of Poland has taken the first rack against the former American Mosconi Cup player Billy Thorpe. David Al-Qaedi has won now 9-3 over Adam Stankovic. Robbie Capito with a 4-3 lead early on against Daniel Guttenberger. Oliver Szolnocki leading 3-0 against Nick Vandenberg. Back to this one.
This will give you a good look at the compact cue action from Mr. Massett. Testing shot, got to get through the cue ball, a bit of right English will pull it back. He's actually got into it real good. It's actually okay. Got into that super easy.
Had a decent showing at the UK Open in London earlier this summer, got to the last 64 there. Talked about Woodward reaching the milestone of his 30th birthday this year. Damien Massey will be 50 just before Christmas.
Seems to be a lot of noise coming from somewhere. Ah, I've spotted it. Raphael Val's playing. He always gets a bit of a crowd round his table. He's the young German player who, if you remember last year, Michael, he played Joshua Filler, something like 8-4 up. Filler come back and won. There was a massive crowd around that table, and then we kind of found out that during his youth playing days, Raphael and Filler used to beat each other up a lot in the junior events. He chose a different career path.
When we say beat each other up, we don't mean physically, we mean on the table.
Yeah, it's not boxing. I just mean you win, I win, you win, I win.
Well, Raphael Val is certainly landing some heavyweight blows at the moment. He leads Fabian Negline 4-0. That one's on the loser's side.
Yeah, Massey's just got back off the shot just because somebody must have walked past. This arena's set up so people can just walk and get to any table they want. So that was a smart move. You should always get back up if something's caught your eye line.
Okay, very nice. It was a bit of a miracle, really, that he won the first rack. Woodward letting him in with that foul that he called on himself. Well, that was a very clean kill, so Damien Massey leads Skylar Woodward 2-0. So much to try and keep an eye on. Matches going on in different rounds. Mark Bijsterbosch is now 2-1 down to Petter Urban in this round. Simone Corral has added the second rack. Now leads 2-0 against Billy Thorpe. Robbie Capito and Daniel Guttenberger are level at 4-all. Mustafa Alnar of Cyprus 2-1 up on Emil Andre Gangflo, who got to the last 16 of the Spanish Open earlier this summer. And Chris Melling has won that deciding rack and has struck a blow for the oldies, beating young Cledio Caci by 9 racks to 8. So Melling will play Can Salim of Germany in winners' qualification. Back to this one, 2-0 Massey.
Chris Melling wins a lot of deciding racks, you know. I've noticed that with Chris over the years. Whenever he gets hill, he has a big percentage of wins. What about Ballroom Bingham, by the way? 8-1 up on table 2. He's on the hill.
I know I was saying earlier you've made great friends with Gary Wilson since he crossed over from snooker. The same thing is not going to happen with Stuart Bingham if you keep calling him ball run. He hates that, which is why everyone says it all the time.
Well, I'll keep saying it then. Oh, I thought just that was his nickname and he didn't mind. Better stop that then.
No, it's all in good humour. I think it does annoy him a little bit though. He has a bit of a reputation for getting a bit of the run of the ball in snooker.
Which, in fairness, is probably nonsense, no? I know people often say that about certain things, but obviously he's a class snooker player, isn't he?
I asked him about it once. I think it was just like one day. It wasn't even in a match. It was in a practice room somewhere, and he had a bit of run of the ball, and someone said, "Oh, there goes Ball Run Bingham again." And you know what it's like in the cue sports scene. Once something like that gets in there, it sticks for life.